So Kelsey Mitchell has officially signed for a team in China, lads. And it means we are not going to be seeing Kelsey Mitchell. Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing her play.
Kelsey Mitchell just dropped a bombshell on the basketball world. She signed with a team in China, and now everyone's wondering, is her time with the Fever over? But here's what's really crazy. This move could be worth a cool $1 million.
But yeah, so she has officially signed for a team playing in the Chinese Basketball League. But let's take a look at this. So she has signed for Shangji.
You know what's even wilder? The Fever just gave her a fat contract extension. So why would she risk it all to play overseas? We're about to dive into the real reasons behind Kelsey's big move and what it means for her future in the WNBA. Trust me, it's not as simple as you might think. Alright, let's talk about the $1 million dilemma Kelsey Mitchell's facing right now. You know what's wild? She just signed this huge contract with the Fever. We're talking over $600,000 for 3 years. That's not chump change, right? Mitchell's been the heart and soul of this team for years. She's their top scorer, their leader on the court. She's the one making things happen when the game's on the line.
I will say, like, I've heard some people saying, like, oh, this means she's gone from the Fever. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Fever players not playing unrivaled. All these players going to China. I'm fearful for the possibility of injuries.
But here's where things get crazy. China comes knocking with a deal that could be worth $1 million for 1 season. Let that sink in for a second. It's like getting offered a year's salary for a few months of work. Who wouldn't be tempted by that? We're not just talking basketball anymore. This is life-changing money we're dealing with.
She probably, let's just say last year, teams in China were looking for her value might have been like $500,000 a year. Like, that would be, considering the fact that I think she's as big a name as Liz Cambridge was, who got $1 million. I would not be surprised if the going rate for Kelsey Mitchell, who is an ultra celebrity because of all the people watching Caitlin Clark, is $1 million too.
Imagine being in Mitchell's shoes right now. On one hand, you've got this team that's invested in you, that believes in you. They've just shown you how much they value you with that fat contract. But on the other hand, you've got this opportunity to set yourself up financially in a way most people can only dream of.
Everyone who had been playing in China announced it months ago. Kelsey Mitchell is recent, so I say she just got an offer that was too good to refuse. Unrivaled is in a bit of a bad spot right now, but Kelsey Mitchell, fair play to her. I would guess in and around $1 million. Come back in the year 2025 and help the Indiana Fever go and win themselves a WNBA championship.
But here's the thing, taking this deal could mess up everything she's built with the Fever. We're talking about relationships with teammates, coaches, fans, the trust and leadership she's established over the years. All of that could be at risk if she decides to make this move.
Got this deal. The only reason she got this deal was because of how big a name she is. It means she's probably going to be leaving Indiana. I think, realistically, it means that she's more likely to be staying in Indiana.
You know what's even crazier? The timing of all this. The Fever just showed Mitchell major love with that contract extension. They're probably thinking, great, we've got our star locked in for the next few years. And then boom, this China deal drops out of nowhere. So how's the Fever reacting to all this? Well, let's just say they're not exactly throwing a party. They've invested a lot in Mitchell, both financially and emotionally. They see her as the cornerstone of their franchise, the player they're building around for the future. And now there's a chance she might not even be there for the start of the season? That's gotta sting.
And I think that how big a name she is helps with her marketing. And the marketing is going to help her get this big deal.
Now, you might think playing in China is all about cashing in, but there's more to this story. Picture this: packed arenas, sky-high expectations, and a style of play that could push Mitchell to her limits. Is she ready for a challenge that could make or break her career? Let's break down what Mitchell's really getting into here.
I don't think she had any intention of playing overseas. She hasn't in the past. And if she signed with a team in China last minute, it's definitely because she got an offer that was way, way better than she expected. But Kelsey Mitchell is just randomly, weeks after they're out, and right before the season started too.
The Chinese Basketball Association isn't just another league. It's a whole different world of basketball. We're talking about a style of play that's like the WNBA on steroids. It's fast, it's high scoring, and it's relentless. Imagine Mitchell, who's used to being the star of the show, suddenly having to adapt to a game where everyone's gunning for those highlight reels. And the pressure, it's insane. These arenas in China are packed to the brim with fans who expect nothing less than than perfection from their $1 million import. You're not just a player anymore. You're an investment, a show, a one-woman spectacle. Every move you make is under the microscope. One bad game, and you can bet it'll be all over the news. But here's where it gets really interesting. Playing in China isn't just about surviving, it's about evolving. Some players come back from their CBA stint with skills that are off the charts. It's like they've been through basketball boot camp. They're scoring more, they're more aggressive, they're seeing the game in ways they never did before. Think about it. Mitchell's already a scoring machine in the WNBA. Now imagine her in a league where defense takes a back seat and it's all about putting points on the board. She could come back to the Fever as an entirely different beast. We're talking about a player who could potentially dominate the WNBA like never before. But let's not sugarcoat it. This move comes with some serious risks. The culture shock alone is enough to throw some players off their game. Imagine trying to communicate with your teammates when you can't speak the language, or dealing with the loneliness of being in a country where everything feels alien. It's not just about basketball anymore, it's about mental toughness. Speaking of challenges, there's one hurdle Mitchell might not have seen coming. The Fever just showed her the money, but China's waving stacks that'd make your head spin. Now Mitchell's caught between loyalty and the chance of a lifetime. What's a rising star to do?
She's an exciting player to watch. They're going to be super hyped to watch her play. What, she might have made 50k playing AU or something? If even 50k. And right now she's probably making the guts of $1 million in China. So yeah, congrats to Kelsey Mitchell. Let's
talk about loyalty for a second. The Fever didn't just offer Mitchell a contract, they rolled out the red carpet. We're talking about a team that's been ride or die with Mitchell since day one. They drafted her, they developed her, they made her the face of the franchise. This isn't just some player-team relationship, it's like family. But now Mitchell's got this golden ticket to China. 1 year there could earn her more than her entire WNBA contract. That's insane, right? Imagine someone offering you 3 years salary for just a few months of work. You'd be crazy not to think about it.
Fever players not playing on Rivals. All these players going to China. I'm fearful for the possibility of injuries. Looking forward to hopefully touch wood, no injuries. Kelsey Mitchell balls out and is ready. And she's going to, for lack of a better way of describing it, she is going to make herself a shitload of money.
Here's where it gets tricky. It's not just about the money, it's about respect, about feeling valued. The Fever showed Mitchell love with that fat contract, no doubt. But when China comes knocking with $1 million deal, it's like they're saying, we think you're worth even more. And what about the fans? These are the people who've been cheering Mitchell on through every win, every loss. They've got her jersey. They're screaming her name at every game. What happens if she leaves? You know some fans are gonna feel betrayed. They might be thinking, we supported you, and this is how you repay us? But flip that around. Maybe some fans will be happy for her. They might be saying, go get that bag, Kelsey. You deserve it.
Indiana Fever general manager make Kelsey Mitchell guarantee amid exit rumor. A lot of people has been saying she possibly could be leaving. A lot of people saying she could be staying. That is Caitlin Clark teammate Kelsey Mitchell actually being on his team.
It's not like she's ditching the Fever forever, right? She could come back even better after a season in China. This move could seriously shake things up between Mitchell and Fever fans. Some might understand, some might not. But one thing's for sure, it's gonna change how people see her. Is she the loyal star who stuck with her team, or the ambitious player who took a chance on something bigger? Forget about Mitchell for a second. Her choice might seem personal, but it's about to shine a spotlight on a problem that's been simmering in the WNBA for years. What happens when the league's brightest stars start chasing overseas paychecks en masse? You see, Mitchell's not the first WNBA player to look overseas for a bigger paycheck. This has been going on for years. We're talking about 80% of WNBA players hitting up international leagues in the off-season. That's insane. These players are basically working 2 jobs just to make ends meet.
A few days ago in a video that she released on Caitlin Clark getting Rookie of the Year. Now, I'm not saying she confirming. Now, if you guys haven't heard now, we all know Lynn Dunn is up out of there, bruh. She was relieved of her duties, and none of the Amber Cox from the Dallas Wings will be taking over.
But here's the thing, Mitchell's different. She's not just any player, she's a superstar, a role model. When she makes a move like this, people notice. Other players are gonna start thinking, if Mitchell can do it, why can't I? They're gonna look at that $1 million paycheck and start dreaming big. Now let's talk about what this means for the WNBA. They've been dealing with this overseas issue for years. years. And it's not pretty. Players leave for bigger paychecks, sure, but they come back injured. They miss training camp. It's like they're playing a game of basketball roulette with their careers.
We were just talking about your team's chances of making the playoffs after a 1-8 start. What has led to this recent success?
You're a vet. This is your team, Kelsey Mitchell, and to assume the role to be additive to Caitlin's game is.
I think that we got to a point where we had to learn through experience, play the tough teams early, figure out what we need to work on better.
The WNBA Players Association is losing their minds over this. They're saying, hey, we need better salaries here at home. But it's not that simple. The league can't just start throwing around million-dollar contracts like they're candy. Here's where it gets really wild. If Mitchell's move to China works out, you know what's gonna happen. More players are gonna follow her lead. We could be looking at a whole new trend in the WNBA.
She will be negotiating with Kelsey and her agents, and I can assure you we'll do everything we can. Kelly will now be in charge of the business side and the basketball side, and she will be making the decisions. And
imagine a league where all the top stars are playing overseas half the year. That's gonna change everything. The game, the fans, the whole shebang. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Playing overseas can mess with a player's game. Some come back better than ever, sure. But others, they struggle to fit back in with their teams. It's like they've been playing a whole different sport. And let's wrap this up. Kelsey Mitchell's got a tough choice ahead, and it's not just about hoops or cash. This decision, it's gonna shape her whole career. Think about it. She could come back from China as a superstar, ready to dominate the WNBA like never before. Or maybe it'll backfire, and she'll struggle to find her rhythm back home. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about Mitchell. Her choice could shake up the entire WNBA. If she kills it in China, you better believe other players are gonna follow her lead. We might be looking at a whole new era of WNBA stars chasing those million-dollar deals overseas. So what would you do in Mitchell's shoes? That million-dollar question ain't so simple now, is it?